Hi, I'm Nick McMahon, and this is Sam, and our presentation is on DocSys, and we were advised by Neil and Christina Heffernan.
So what is DocSys? So let's talk about the main problem here. So we talked with teachers and people in education. So we found out that providing feedback on student essays and writings, it was difficult for them on paper and electronically. This is because sometimes they got repetitive on paper, they'd write the same thing over and over again, they had to keep track of everything and all these things. And the current methods have issues with them. Like, for example, a tool can be used such as like Google Docs. People can write essays in there, and to provide feedback to them, they have to manually add a comment. And as our professor, Professor Heffernan says, his kids would get feedback on their documents. They would get comments saying like what they have issues on, and the students would just go through it and they would just press resolve, 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 resolve. They don't even look at it, right? So they would just go through all that, and all the feedback is essentially gone. So for our solution, we wanted to implement a Google Docs add-on that prevented this, that actually helped facilitate teacher and peer learning, where they can provide feedback that's quick and easy. So it solves the current methods that have issues. It will provide another method for teachers to use, and it will encourage learning, so it's actually useful for students to learn and improve their writing. So we'll just get into that later on.
So one of the first things we had to do, we actually had to meet the user. We had a lot of ideas of what we thought should go into this tool, what we thought would be helpful. Some of them turned out to be accurate, and others we ended up scrapping because there was very little interest in them. So we met with 3 teachers from Shrewsbury High School, and we met with each of them for over an hour. And one of the main things we got from them were that we wanted something faster and easier, because right now when they were grading essays on Google Docs, writing comments every time seemed to be tedious. It took longer than actually just grading it on paper. It needed to be customizable because each essay is different, and each class has different requirements. And one of the interesting features that we had not even considered, but was very popular, was the use of color for different types of rubric categories, and anonymized feedback. The idea being that students don't want to give honest peer review feedback if they know that their name is going to be attached to it. They want to be nicer to friends or peers in the class. One of the features that we thought would be important that ended up having very little interest was this idea of using the add-on to manage assignment due dates and document distribution. There are actually add-ons that exist that do this, and the feedback we received from them basically was that teachers found it was almost annoying to deal with, because if you wanted to give an extension, it proved to be difficult to allow that student to submit something late.
All right, so the DocAssist design. We used the Google Apps script, which is available to the public if you just go to add-ons. It's a language based off of JavaScript, and we also used HTML and CSS to work off of this. And it was a learning experience throughout all this, whether it follow Google's very, well, I would say strict UI style guide. They had specifications on what we had to do. When we submitted it for review, they told us what they wanted to see and what they did not want to see. For example, we had features that we had taken out because they didn't like it, and we had features added in because they wanted to see something to make it more effective for the user. So, and we also had to follow the style guide so it fits in with all the other add-ons, so it looks like it's something from Google and not something that looks like it's different.
We also had to make a little bit of a side application using Google Apps Engine. Basically, this allows us to, if a teacher creates a rubric, it allows them to share it with their students and with other teachers. More or less, it's just a place to store rubrics outside of the doc. And it's just a small applet written in Java that allows us to do this. So we have a brief overview of some of the main features that we have in the Google Docs add-on. Probably the most notable are the customizable rubrics with colors, rubric sharing, and the ability to give any type of feedback and respond to that effectively. So we have a quick demo prepared. So if you want to use our add-on, I already have it linked to my account. But basically, you just go to add-ons and get add-ons in Google Docs. And if you search for us, or you can scroll through the list. We appear right here. So we're in the store. We're available for you to try.
5 stars even.
To start, the user can go to review, and if they don't have a rubric selected for the doc, you'll be prompted to pick one. I have a couple that I've saved under my account, so we'll pick one and select that. And now it's tied to the doc, and we have these quick feedback messages on the side that we can pick to grade the essay. So this paragraph is a little messy. So this whole sentence right here is a little choppy, so we'll say, it's a little choppy, so we'll click that, and it highlights the comment for us in the colorful flow and records it. We have a couple spelling mistakes, so we'll comment those. And then, this clearly isn't up to par, so we'll say, this needs some serious work. And we'll just make that a general comment. We won't tie it to anything. So there are some other issues there, but we'll pretend we're done grading. And at the bottom there's this button that says Update Summary. So if we just click this, and it loads, and now at the bottom page, we have this nice little table that basically summarizes all of your comments that you've received and allows you to quickly reference them. So, it says spelling at note 2, you can click it, just click on the link, and it brings you right to this location here. And then also down here you have the option to grade. So this summary can get updated as you add comments or as more feedback is given. But the grade, whatever you put in the grading table here will remain. So if you want to use it as a grading rubric, you can, and you don't have to worry about it getting erased.
All right. So what do we do with all this information you say? So this is a tool designed for teachers and peers, like interaction. So what the students would do is after this, the teacher would probably say email report or the grader, and they will get this little notification. They basically can enter an email to like the students that are working on this document and send an email out to them, and it would just be like, oh, this document has edits for you to look at. And then I'm not going to send an email now, but it's going to send. And then the students would basically come over here. They can scroll down to the bottom. They can see the little categories and be like, oh, I have a lot of issues in writing style. I can focus on that. And what they can do is they can go onto our other menu, the revise menu, and it open up this tool, which shows all the little feedback that they receive. So for example, if I click spelling, it'll highlight that, if you can see that, and you have a choice to explain how to fix it. So for example, this is a required explanation, which means you have to fix it, so I'll fix it real quick. They'll just be like, only, and it's fixed. They'll be like, oh, fix the typo or something, fix typo, and they'll reply. So they now have a little thread going on with their little explanation of how to fix something. So as the issue gets more complicated with like thesis statements or anything like that, they can start explaining and have conversations back and forth to improve and learn. So now they can resolve the issue if it's suitable. They'll highlight it, it's gone now, but it still remains over here. So the students can basically go through all this, fix the choppy sentence, but I'm not gonna fix it now. And after they're all done, they can update the summary again. And in a little bit, you can see that it's now fixed, and it has that little explanation in there. So the summary keeps track of everything, so in case you don't want to go through everything, you just scroll down to the summary and see what the students have fixed real quick. And for the rubric, if you are the owner of the rubric, you can also, say you forgot to add a little, some feedback note. You can also go into a rubric setup. You can add or remove whatever you want. So in our case, we can add like a new category. For example, you're missing some punctuation, right? Punctuation. Add, and then you can choose a color that associates it with it, and you can say like something quick to like missing commas or something like that. And you can update it. So this is the MQP one, so I'll just do MQP, and we're gonna overwrite this, save. And it's just showing off a little quick thing. And now it's gonna be over, oh, I didn't import it, right? Or does it? Okay. But yeah, if I say it correctly, it would have appeared right over here, and you can now use that, and the students could also access that by importing the same rubric. So that's the general gist of Doc Assist. All right, so our development timeline. We started this off actually in January, and we spent about a month or in a couple weeks actually developing a working prototype for Google to review. And we sent in to Google for our first review on February. And the little break between February and April was the whole entire Google process of us going back and forth, them giving us feedback, us fixing it, and then going back to them and back and forth. And we finally got Google approval like about a week ago, which is really great, and it's launched in our Google add-on store. And today we have 74 active users, and we have several teachers that are interested in testing our initial release right now for more.
And one of the things we noticed towards the end of our release when we actually had it in the store is that we had this long list of permissions that we request when you install it. Most of these are pretty standard, like note you are in Google and view your email address. People tend to be okay with those. But the ones that were sort of an issue were send email as you and manage your contacts. And this was pretty interesting. The email as you is, send email as you is mainly just for the notification, where you can click that link and just send someone a notification that your document is ready. So we're able to explain that. What about the manage your contacts? So it turns out we're not actually managing your contacts, we're just using them for an autocomplete feature. So if when you go into that email form, if you type in a new email address, it will autocomplete based on your Google contacts and fill it in. So we put that at the bottom of the store description to sort of inform users that's what we're using your information for. We're not actually stealing it and using it to market you something. Any questions? Yes.